Hello and welcome to another episode of Natural Bliss Podcast. I am your host, Joyce Wheeler. And for all your electromagnetic protection, you're going to want to go to heavenlybodieswellness.com and go ahead and check out the various shungite products we have. We have also the three types, the regular shungite, the Petrovsky, and the Noble, or Elite as it's also known. And if you've been struggling with weight, having a hard time taking it off or keeping it off, or if you just want to live a healthier lifestyle, I am doing a course called Ditch the Diet, Change Your Lifestyle. It's an eight-week course. It starts on June 8th, and it is a beta. So you want to get it, if you're going to want to go ahead and do this, you're going to want to get it now because the price will go up. I am going to be doing it each season, and each season will have something different in it. So go ahead to majesticterra.com and take a look at that. So today I have with me Swanette, and she is an engineer who turned into a business consultant and then left her career to become a success mindset coach and spiritual mentor. Her passion is to guide gifted and mission-driven business leaders to overcome their upper limit problems and create a life beyond brilliance. Swanette's own life journey started with a near-death experience at the age of 8 and let her experiences several moments feeling like Phoenix out of the ashes. And at the same time, she got curious about life in different aspects, exploring science and spirituality to end up finding her own essence, gifts, mission, and embrace the abundance of life. She now helps people to kick the invisible glass ceiling that is holding them back from achieving their true potential. She inspires people to explore their best self, their essence, and their vision of life. She does this by helping people to overcome their emotional blockages, traumas that leave them stuck and unfulfilled, and that hold them back from becoming genuine and unstoppable for ultimate success. She empowers people so that they too can live a life beyond brilliance. Swanette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. You are located where?
I'm in Madeira Island, a tiny island that belongs to Portugal, and it is a subtropical island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
It sounds wonderful.
Definitely it is.
Nice. Nice. So 8 years old, you had a near-death experience. Can you share with our audience what happened?
Yeah, so it happened when I was only 8 years old that I fell in coma, and the doctors didn't know what happened with me, what was the reason, because they thought it could be something like a meningitis or perhaps only low blood pressure, but they didn't know. So I was in the hospital. And because of that, the doctors tried to figure out the reason of my fainting away. And I was lying there and I could see myself in the bed, and the doctor stick in a long needle into my spinal cord to take out some liquor. And I could see, there was my body, here was me, I like my soul. And I could see also my parents were outside, they were not in the same room with me. And I was kind of pulled into the light, and it was so peaceful and calm that I really had the feeling I have to go there. And the next moment I was pushed back into my body, and I woke up from my own screaming because of the pain of the needle in my spinal cord. Right. And the next moment I was in coma again. And so this situation that I fainted away only sometimes for minutes, but sometimes for a day, happened again and again. So it was like something I had experienced all my childhood. Like I felt like I had no control about what is happening with me, no control about, about my life. And this was a very impressive experience for me being a child.
So how long were you in a coma?
2 days.
2 days?
Yeah, at that time, 2 days.
And after, did they ever figure out what was wrong?
Not at that time. It took me about 20 years. Only when I studied chemistry by myself, I understood that at that time I was toxified by pesticides. So it was kind of common in Germany, where I come from at that time, that people painted the wooden ceiling inside of houses, or wood inside of houses, to protect it from insects. And these were pesticides that were used, and the paint was not declared to be being toxic. So in my child's room, this wooden ceiling was painted with this kind of paint. And I inhaled these pesticides for hours and hours while I was sleeping there, and they accumulated in my body, and these were neurotoxins. And of course, what was insects will also kind of kill little children. And so only then I understood, okay, so this was what happened to me being a child. But at that time, the doctors couldn't figure out what it was, and they didn't have any idea about that at all.
Right. So do you know of other children that this also happened to when you were growing up?
I know about other children, of course, that had severe effects on toxic substances in houses. And but for me, it was not that I had at that time any clue what was going on. So I only felt like I was different, and that from that time on, I had special gifts that were not common to other children. So I was always like the kind of a little bit weird one, because I could see beyond. And so I understood, even though perhaps this happened to other children, they didn't show up with the same symptoms.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we're all weird in our own way, and being weird is not a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a t-shirt that says "Weird is my normal." So you were having like the near-death experiences even after you came out of the coma. Did I understand that right?
So it was one near-death experience because of this situation. And after that, I was in coma again and again, or just fainted away for a minute. Like really, I was out there playing, and the next moment I was kind of on the ground, and I couldn't remember what happened the next minutes. And so this near-death experience was only once, but it was really that I already at that time felt like there is something more than the normal life. Like there is me being the spirit, that there are higher realms, and that we are made of more elements than only having this bio body.
So what kind of experiences were you having? What kind of gift did you land up with after this? I've heard of it happening to other people where they have a near-death experience and then they come back and they're given a gift. So what gift did you receive?
So for me, it was that I became clairvoyant and precognitive. And as a child, I didn't understand what it is, that I could see other things than other children could see, or that I got instant wisdom of something. Like I didn't learn that, I knew it. And for many years, it was like, okay, this is happening with me. And I don't know how to handle that. And when I was about 18 years old, I went into drugs for some time, and with that shut it down. So the gift was shut down for many years, and it only came up some years ago again with the death of my dog. And since then, I have this gift again, or these both gifts, like being precognitive and clairvoyant, and I now can use it because I understand more what it is all about. So I used the time when it came back to learn more about using these gifts, like learning to read the Akashic records, for example. I participated in remote viewing studies and to really understand, okay, is it something that I make up, or is it something that I really can use? And being in this remote viewing studies now, I would call myself like certified woo-woo, because it was very, it was very clear
I love that, certified woo-woo.
because it was very clear that these were studies where I couldn't just make it up. And if you're interested, I can share a little bit more about that, how this works, for example, being a participant in such a study.
Please do. Feel free to share.
Yeah, so one thing is remote viewing is a method or a tool that was used by the CIA in former times during the Cold War to get information about the Russian army and where they had whatever weapons and this kind of thing. So this is kind of a method people are kind of gifted, but you also can learn. And to understand more about people who now have this kind of gifts, there's a possibility with the Stanford University to participate in this kind of studies. And one was, for example, that I got a code with numbers and different signs. And this code was connected to a person that was sitting somewhere. And I had to describe what I could see, like where this person was sitting, what was the environment. And I had 20 minutes to kind of log myself into this code and into this person. And then I had to write it down, what I could see, and send it to the study team. The next moment I got 4 different videos, and I had to bring them in order to see, okay, this was the place I have seen, and this is not the place. So it is chance 25% that it is correct. And I sent back one where I thought this one could be the place, and this was right. And then they read the description I gave about the environment, and what I got back was that I could even see more than that was connected to this kind of code. And for me, it is like kind of flying a drone. Like I could go there and zoom into this place and turn around and go a little bit more up. And for me, I could also see like things that were, for example, behind this person, like there was a ruin with an old rusty fence, and he was sitting on a bench on a hill. So I could see all the environment around this person. And so for me, it is like really, if you would take a drone and fly to this place, this is what I do just mentally. And so this is how this happens. And if people are interested, I'm sure there are more studies coming up. If people want to participate, I can forward the information about that.
Oh, that would be great. But, you know, from what I'm hearing you say, I mean, a lot of psychics do the same thing. So how is it? The only difference I could see is that they're giving you a code.
Yes, I think that psychics can see this as well. But for having like a kind of a proof what is connected to the study design, I think therefore they use this kind of code.
Okay, so are they
different? People get different codes, so everybody gets a different code to tune in to different places. So I think because of the study design, this is necessary.
So they're staging it. They're setting these people in these particular places and developing a code. Okay, that's one difference between remote viewing and a psychic, because a psych with psychics, they have nobody say that there's been a crime and investigators want a psychic to come in and help. Well, they have no idea where this crime took place. Let's say a child was lost. They have no idea where this lost child is. So they bring a psychic in, and the psychic tells them whatever they're seeing. But with the remote viewing, it's actually set up. So how did that work in Russia then? Because they couldn't stage it. Was a code still used when they were doing remote viewing in Russia?
No. These people were psychics, just as you described it. Like they had no idea where the target is or what they are looking for. So they bring in the information, like downloading it or however they get the information. But for participating in a study, they need to have a special study design that you can focus on one point to describe what you can see. So the study design needs this, as a target.
So are they doing this research because they want to find out who has the ability to actually be able to do remote viewing?
Yeah, this is one question. Also, like getting more clarity, how we can access this kind of information. Like people have different abilities. So some like I'm clairvoyant, I can see it, and
Right.
I get instant knowledge. So I know that the place is whatever in England, for example. But other people perhaps get more feelings, or they get sounds or whatever. So they have, or they channel it. I don't know. People have different gifts, and they
Right.
wanted to find out how we can access this information.
So did they, in the study, do they include participants with different gifts, like the gifts you were just talking about? Or are they looking specifically for clairvoyant or psychic people? No.
They targeted different people with having people that describe themselves having gifts, and also people that describe themselves having no gifts, because they wanted to understand if everybody can do that, or if it is something you can train, or if it is something you need a special gift for.
What do you think?
I think everybody has these kind of gifts more or less inside themselves, but most of the people are not aware of that, or they shut them down because, for example, of toxic substances that block their pineal gland, so that their third eye is not open. They can't download information. Also, I think people sometimes have these, or I have a feeling in my stomach that something is happening, or these déjà vu experiences. So these are kind of information they get from other senses than the normal 5, 6 senses, or 7, 5 senses are the normal ones. So I think everybody has kind of a base ability to do these kind of things, and then of course it is opening up these kind of other senses and training them as well. It's like everything, no? If you want to become a good painter, you have perhaps a special gift already, but becoming really good, you have to train that. And it's the same with using this kind of gifts. So even good mediums are not born like they're that special at the beginning. They use it, and the often they use it, the better they become.
I agree with you. I think all humans have some kind of gift like this. We have these abilities, but I think they become stifled. I've had many guests on who have gifts, and one of the things that I come across is that as a child, their parents are basically telling them, no, you can't talk like this, you can't do that, and therefore stifling it. And I don't think it's just the parents, I also think it's our society. Our society, if you're in a church, their church will tell you that it's evil, that no, you can't know that. Only God knows that. So I think our society has various ways for stifling our gifts. I had one woman on, her mom was a white witch. And so from very early on, she was exposed to another type of life and spirituality. So that, of course, enabled her to be open to her own gifts. I had talked to somebody else whose sister had a gift, but because there was nobody there to guide her with it, she didn't know what to do with it. She landed up homeless on the street and a drug addict because she didn't know what to do. You know, and then you have other countries, cultures, where when they realize a child has a gift, the elders will come in and they'll help them to develop that gift and to work with that gift. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And it's like, why can't it be like that all over? You know, why do they have to deem something that's so natural as being something that's so bad? Did you share what you're going through with your parents? And if so, how did they react?
No, I never spoke with anybody about this being a child. I only started speaking about that when I was grown up and had an idea what is going on. For me as a child, I was not even, it was not clear what I could do or what I could see. It was like kind of normal, but different to other children. So no, I never spoke about that with anybody.
Never. Wow. Is there a reason? Did you feel like if you shared this with people that they would think differently of you, or that your parents might, you know, be like, no, you can't do that. Don't talk about that. Do you think that's how they might have reacted to what you were capable of doing?
My parents were kind of open-minded people, so I think especially my mother would have understood that there is something special. And I had a good relationship with my parents. So I think this was not the case that I could not open up to my parents. I think it was more that I didn't have a clue what it was and not the feeling to speak about that. Like, why would you speak about something that is kind of normal to you? So
right. And not only that, but then as a child, you probably didn't have the words maybe to say, this is what I'm going through, this is what's happening. I don't know what it is, but this is what I'm experiencing. Do you think that was part of the reason you never talked about it too at that point in time?
So I think we were so kind of concentrated during my whole childhood about me being sick and having this situation that I always fainted away and going to the doctors, and there was kind of no situation like getting clarity about what was really going on, because even the doctors didn't understand what was going on.
Right. So how long did you go through life that you were just fainting?
Between 8 and 20, I would say.
Wow. So what would it be like? Like you said, you were outside playing. Did this ever happen at school?
Yeah, it was really from one second to another that I felt like the blood is going out of my body or down into the feet or something like that. And then I had, I don't know, 1 or 2 seconds, and then I fell down.
Did you ever hurt yourself when you fell down? Like hit your head real hard, or?
Yeah, I had some injuries, but as I could feel it really like now it's coming, and then it meant like lying down or finding the next chair. And sometimes it also started that I only could see black and white. So I knew that now in the next moments I have to find a safe place, and then it happened, and yeah.
So when you were in school, did you have friends?
Yeah, I had friends, of course. And I tried to suppress this kind of gift. So I tried to be normal and play with the other children, but I was also bullied a lot. So I had a lot of experiences where, for example, children would hold my arms, and one child would paint something on my face, or situations like that. So.
Geez, that's just not being bullied. I mean, being bullied to me, it's more verbal, but they're entering your personal space. I mean, that's attacking your person. Wow.
Yeah, but okay, perhaps there's another word for, I only know the English word that is bullying. And for me, it was like a kind of, yeah, being outside of a group, people or the children laughing at me, or like this kind of situation, or children hitting me. So when I was about, let me think, 10 years old, I started to get training with my father to fight, for example, so that I can defend myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So did these incidents happen while you're at school?
I don't understand the question. Why I was, what?
When this happened, were you at school?
I was at school, or I was out with children playing in nature, or somewhere. So even sometimes when I was older, this happens when I was at a party or somewhere. It's on the street, walking from A to B.
Children are actually very cruel, but at the same time, I very much so believe that children are taught to be bullies but I also believe that they can have issues of themselves. I had read a book when I was younger, and they called them emotional leeches, to where I'm having issues that I don't know how to deal with. And I'm looking at you, and you seem to be pretty happy. I mean, you have these fainting spells, but overall, you're happy. So I don't want you to be happy, because I'm not happy. So I'm going to find ways to make you miserable. And it's called an emotional leech. So I think, the bullying, I think, is kind of learned from parents, but also kids reacting to what they've had done to them. Then the school didn't do anything about this?
No, even though, like this situation, I was new in this class where this happened with a painting in my face. There was no reaction from the school, and I didn't went to anybody with that. Like, I tried to fix it. I went home and told my mother I don't want to go back to this school, and yeah.
That's horrible. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's just terrible. I mean, I went through bullying too when I was younger. I think a lot of us have experienced bullies at some point in time in our life, but I've never had them get physical like that. It was just always very, very verbal. So, although they would, like, are you familiar with TPing? Like, take toilet paper, and they used to TP our house during Halloween. They would throw eggs at our house. Yeah, they would do stuff like that, but it was never physical, thankfully. But that's just that's horrible. So did they do this because you were fainting, because you were new at school? Why do you think that they treated you like that? Have you any idea?
Not really. I can only guess that. No, I always felt like I don't belong. I don't belong here to this planet. I don't belong to humanity. And this was always a feeling also, I don't belong really to these children. Now, they are my peers. Okay, I try to connect with them. I try to have friends. But it was always like, somehow I don't belong here. And perhaps this was what I was sending out and they're getting. And then, of course, knowing things or seeing things I couldn't know sometimes. Yeah, I don't know what it really was. I have no clue. No.
No, some of the times we don't, the people I was bullied by, I have no idea. I have no idea why they were bullying me. All I was doing was walking home from school. That's all. And I didn't even know them. They went to a different school. And they just started saying stuff to me. Like for no reason at all. Just because of the way that I was dressed was mainly what they were talking about, how I was dressed. Back then, I mean, it was the 70s. It was all the short skirts and the platform shoes. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So, but because they went to a Catholic school, they weren't allowed to dress like this, where I went to public school. So I could basically wear what I wanted. I didn't have a nun checking to make sure that my skirt was down to my knees. So, but yeah, I mean, sometimes we know why and sometimes we don't know why, but either way, it's a sad thing. So have you turned your gifts into a business?
Yes, and I worked as a coach and consultant for many years, but at that time my gifts were shut down, so I didn't have them. And only when my dog died, there was this moment that she sent me pictures that she is now leaving me, and it was really like, okay, no, I'm getting this insight that she will die soon. And so I was outside with my brother doing some gardening, and she sent me this picture. I have to leave you now. And I said, okay, I have to go inside. Something is wrong with Tyler, so the name of my dog. And I went in, and again, I got this picture, I have to leave you now. And 15 minutes later, she died in my arms. And
Aww.
It was that really from this moment on, like, no, it was, everything was opening again. And I thought at that moment, either I go crazy, like, no, call these guys with the tight white jackets, or I have to understand what is going on. And so I decided I can remember somehow from my childhood that there was something that was similar to that. So I really went into learning about the morphogenetic field. I was learning about reading the Akashic records and the remote viewing and all this kind of stuff about mediumship and quantum physics and everything that helped me to, on the one hand, understand what is going on, but also to control these kind of gifts. Because when it started, I was sitting with someone and I got pictures of this person from a past life, for example. And I don't want to have that when I'm just outside having a drink with a friend.
Yeah, so that's intrusive.
So I really wanted to have control about what is going on. And of course, now, as I can really look beyond, I can look into past lives and understand what are connections from there to the present time. I use this in my business, being a mindset coach. And normally I start from the present time, understanding what is the mindset of this person is having, what are blocking beliefs, what are traumas in this present time. I've gone through all of that, so I know what it is. And releasing everything that is holding them back in this lifetime. Then I look into the ancestral line, understanding what is happening in the family line, so to say, and also understanding this from my own experience. Like, my grandmother has been in 2 world wars, my father has been in 1 world war, and pattern from there are giving over to me. And for example, like my grandmother had her house full of food when she died. There was really like, she had a freezer where you could put in a pig or a cow, really a huge one, filled with meat, and a lot of storage in the cellar with self-made pickles and cooked beans or whatever it was. So she had storage for, I don't know, 20 years. Really, all the house was full of food because she experienced having nothing to eat.
Right.
Yeah,
I've heard about people like when we had the Great Depression here, back in, I believe it was in the 20s, people who had lived through that did the same thing.
Yeah.
Throughout their life, they would just hoard the food.
Yeah, same with my father. So also he always had the fridge full, and also like a tendency to overeat, to overfeed our cats. And like there was always this pattern of food is essential. Of course it is. Yeah.
Right.
If you have been in a situation where you had nothing to eat, of course. But for me, I've never been in a situation like this in my lifetime. But you will always find my fridge as well full, because this kind of pattern is, okay, better have something to eat in the house, and not that it is getting empty. But I'm aware of that. So every time I go shopping, I'm aware that, okay, how much do I really need? Have my list, okay, it needs to come back into the fridge or into the storage, but not like hoarding it. What happened with my father and grandmother. So, and you will see a lot of people have pattern in their life. When they look into the ancestral line, they can see from where it was given over and again given over. Like money mindset is something, if people always lost what they had, for example, during a war, they lost their homes, they lost all their values, like they could only take a few things with them. So of course, from there, having these experiences also, okay, money is essential, we must hold the money. Yeah, it can disappear the next moment. Yeah, how to save our values. This is also coming from this line. Yeah, and
it's something how much our ancestors can actually affect our lives, and even past lives can have an effect on what we're doing right now. That kind of ticks me off. It's kind of like, no, you're not here. I am here. Why do I have to carry your garbage with me? That's not fair.
Yeah, but one thing is, first become aware of that. Is there something that you can see that is a family pattern? And then, of course, understanding how to handle that, how to clear that,
Right.
change your beliefs, change your behavior with that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if clients want to work with you, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, so there are different ways. Of course, they can find me on my website, which is spiritual-changemaker.com. And also on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, and yeah, LinkedIn, wherever. So it's easy to find me there with my name, Swanette Kunze. And I would also like to offer a free giveaway for your clients who are interested to understand a little bit more about themselves, which would be coaching with me, having half an hour, understanding more about their own patterns, about their own beliefs, and yeah, what is holding them back to have a fulfilled life.
So how did they get that? Is there a code that they
Yeah.
would have to use?
Yeah, I can send you a link. Perhaps you want to put this in the show notes.
Yes.
And people who listen to this podcast until the end, they will figure out that there is this free gift, and they can just click on that and book themselves into my schedule.
Nice. And to learn how to spell Swanette's name, of course, that'll too will be in the description. Usually I don't put the last name, but in this case, I will go ahead and I would do that for anybody who wants to follow her on social media, or, find where she is. And of course, the website's always there too. So we have that. Are there any last thoughts that you would like to leave the listening audience with?
Yeah, I think it is important to become aware of what are beliefs about yourself. Is there anything that is holding you back from really living an abundant and fulfilled life? And if you figure out, yes, you think about yourself, something that is limiting, then work on that, change that, because you deserve to have a fantastic life.
Yes, we all do, don't we? All right, Swanette, it was really great having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And of course, we had to work around the time zones for this one. So I appreciate you doing that very much. Thank you for being here. And we will talk to you soon. And for our listening audience, remember to keep on shining. Till next time.